After the training session, we head down to this fortress. We meet a necromancer called Nybeth here. You can actually take on this battle earlier than we're doing it. After rescuing Leonard from Chrysero, you can go here straight away after that. If you do end up taking on Nybeth at that point, this battle does tend to be a bit difficult. We're slightly over leveled for this fight, but this is not an easy fight. We're at a huge disadvantage due to the terrain. The enemy has magic users and archers raining arrows down from above. Our own archers are not able to counter the enemy's archers due to the difference in height. Our magic unit is stuck fighting the enemy warrior and the Valkyrie, again because of a lack of range. And our healer is on double duty. Not only has he got to keep the rest of our units alive, but he has to make sure he has enough MP to exercise the undead units. Something worth noting in this version that's a bit different in the PSP version is that human and undead units are correctly treated as being human. For whatever reason, maybe it's a mistake, but I believe that human undead units are classed as Umbra in the PSP version, so you can't actually recruit them with a recruit skill. You can get them to join you, but you have to get a Lich, which is only possible in the very late game. So recruiting zombified humans is not possible until much later on. Here we're going to attempt to try and recruit one of these units. I really want to recruit at least one of these zombies. They're not going to be too useful in the long term, but we can kind of use them as sponges for damage, and we don't have to worry about them dying, as undead units will get up after a few turns of being knocked down. In the PSP version, you can recruit other zombified units without any problems. The most notable is probably the zombie octopus that can be recruited in Farumpa Wildwoods. All you need is a beast tamer. It's just for some reason in that version undead humans are not treated as humans. They're classed as Umbra, so it's a bit harder to get hold of them. On this turn, we're actually able to recruit the zombie Valkyrie. She moved up right next to Donalto. It's a little odd seeing a cleric recruit a zombie, but hey ho, works for me. Our zombie Valkyrie does go down, but because she's a zombie, she'll eventually get up after a few turns, so we don't have to worry about her dying. We've managed to clean up most of the zombies that Nibeth has sent at us. Even if you do exercise all the ones he sends, he can summon more with his Summon Darkness skill. He will eventually run out of units that he can summon, but it can be a bit of a tedious process getting rid of them all. He likes to hang back for a few turns on this map, and he lets his undead do all the work, but he will eventually move forward, so this map is possible. I did also try to go for a few attempts of recruiting this zombie warrior with Voltaire and Denim, but it didn't end up working. He didn't want to join us, so we'll just have to get rid of him as well. Now, once again, Nibeth has not making any steps towards us. He has some kind of AI where he just stands in place every other turn. Luckily, because he's not moving, his RT count isn't going to be too high, so he'll get his next turn a bit sooner. At this point, he's definitely in range to start attacking our units. He does decide to go for one last Summon Darkness. He then falls back, but at this point, I'm pretty sure he's going to move up. So Nybeth moves up. He doesn't attack us for some reason. He definitely could have done so. But at this point he's very close. We can't quite shoot him with our archers just yet. But I believe he should start to attack us next time he takes his turn. Once Nybeth starts attacking our units, we'll for sure be in range to attack him back. And most of the enemies in this fight are not too scary. They don't do a whole lot of damage, and that's probably because we're slightly over-leveled. But as you saw, the boss Nybeth still deals nearly 200 damage. If you try taking this map on when you can first do it after the battle at Chrysero, Nybeth can definitely be a huge threat. Thankfully, because he's a mage, he doesn't have too much in the way of defences, so our archers do a considerable amount of damage when they attack him with a crit. We're able to take him out. He does some crazy necromancer magic, turns himself into a crow, and he flies away. We get to permanently recruit this zombie Valkyrie. Here we'll do one short training battle just to get our units levels up. Here we have another fairly simple battle. This time we're joined by Ravnus. She's a fairly solid guest unit. She's a Valkyrie and she has spears and some attack magic. She can easily hold her own in this battle, providing she doesn't run too far ahead. We get a nice perfect damage kill on that Berserker. When targeting enemies, I usually want to focus on killing one unit instead of spreading damage out across multiple units. By focusing down one enemy at a time, our units have less damage incoming. Early on, it's not going to matter too much, but later on, enemies will be dealing significantly more damage to our forces. So to prevent our team getting overwhelmed, it's usually a good idea to take out one enemy at a time. One thing you might notice is that sometimes we'll start attacking one unit, but then some of our other units will attack a different unit. This might be due to different reasons, but one of the most common reasons I'll do this is that we can't really do any significant damage to the unit we've already started attacking. For instance, heavily armoured units like knights don't take a whole lot of damage from our archers. Our wizard can definitely deal plenty of damage to an enemy knight, but if we're only dealing like 1 or 2 damage with our archers, we'll probably want to target the mages with them instead. Another thing that's a big factor is the elemental affinity of units. If you're familiar with Pokemon, there's a similar system in this game where certain types are effective against other units. If one of our units has a good affinity against one of the enemy's units, we'll try and take them down first. I've noticed that in Tactics Ogre Reborn, there tends to be 1 or 2 elements that the enemy's team is focused on. This can be both good and bad for us. We have a wide variety of different elements on our team, but early on, wind is the main focus. Our wizard and Canopus are both wind elements. Later on in the run, I believe that we actually end up with a fairly even split between most of the 6 elements. You can also turn your units into light or dark elements in this game. There are some restrictions on this though. usually if you want a unit to become light element, you have to put them in a class like cleric. Usually you can only turn a unit into a dark element if they become a warlock, a necromancer, or a lich. Having light and dark units in your party can be pretty decent, as they won't really have to worry about elemental matchups too often. Light and dark are easily the rarest of the elements you have to go up against, at least early on. If you decide to do the post-game content, you'll definitely see more light and dark element units. Anyway, we've rambled on enough about elements for now. Back to the battle. Once again, by prioritising targets like warriors and berserkers, we've made sure that we've not taken too much damage. Ravenous gets a nice double attack here with a spear. She's also weakened this winged unit to critical HP. I mentioned in the Battle to Save Cecina that winged units are quite valuable, so we go for a recruit attempt on him, and we actually get it. Having 2 extra Vartans is going to be really good. Our wizard is definitely the MVP of this battle for dealing damage against the knight. He deals over 100 damage, whereas other units aren't even dealing 30 damage. Our wizard also has an advantage with the element, as he's the air element and the boss is earth. While we are only doing chip damage with our archers, it's still worth attacking the boss. There's no other units left to attack at this point, so we may as well do a slight bit of damage. Might get us to kill him slightly faster. And with that, Ravenous finishes off the boss. Now it's time to take on Gamp. In this battle he has 2 Griffins, Berda and Obda. You can end this fight by reducing the HP of either Berda or Obda, which we'll definitely want to do instead of taking down Gamp. I think they're slightly weaker in terms of their defences, and they also tend to charge forward, so it's definitely easier to kill them instead of Gamp. One other thing we need to do in this battle is kill the winged archers. Normally killing generic units doesn't reward you with anything too amazing early on in the game, but if you kill these guys, they drop class marks that allow you to change units into the Vartan class. Since we've managed to recruit 2 winged of our own, we'll definitely want to do this. It's not too easy to get hold of the class marks that let you change into a Vartan. I believe they're called Peregrine marks. I believe in Chapter 1, killing enemy winged archers is guaranteed to drop them. There might be some other way to get them later on in the game, but there's very few that you can actually obtain. If we don't get these marks now, we may not have an option to get them later on. Going for the optional challenge of getting these Peregrine marks isn't too difficult, but we do have Berda and Obda harassing our backline. Luckily at this point we have plenty of healing, as we have 2 knights and a cleric. Ravnus can also heal as well, but she seems to prioritise dealing damage. Now that Quechua has fled the battle, Ravnus is in a bit of a difficult spot. Thankfully for us though, she's just like Vice and Quechua, and she'll flee from battle when she gets too weak. She won't die for good. We're at the point where we could take out one of Burda or Obda. You don't need to kill Burda or Obda to end this fight, you just got to bring them down to about 30% of their max HP to get the fight to end. We're in a position where we could finish the fight by attacking Burda, but we just want to wait till the enemy archer gets closer. Now, at this point, Ravnus has to retreat. She's done a good job of weakening the enemy archer, so as soon as he gets in range, 1 or 2 attacks should finish him off. Unfortunately, our archer has been stunned by the griffins, so he ends up wasting his turn this time. Our zombie Valkyrie does go down, but she's only really here to be a distraction. Because she's a lower level than the rest of our units, the AI we'll see more damage on her and prioritize taking attacks on her. This kind of synergizes with the fact that zombies don't gain EXP through battle. In the PSP version, they're kind of crap units because there's no way to level them at all. But in the Reborn version of this game, you can use EXP charms on zombies to level them up, so they're a fair bit more useful. We get a terrible stroke of luck here. One of our archers is stunned on this turn, and the other one misses the enemy archer. We do really want this guy to die, so we can get the peregrine marks. But thankfully, the charmed lizard man does the job for us. We can now focus on getting Berda's HP down. And good old Canopus with the finisher should do the job. Now we've arrived at the end of Chapter 1. This is another really easy battle. This time our archers are positioned really well to snipe all the way across the map. If I remember correctly, in the SNES version of the game, the fight at Valmamusa is even easier, as all of the enemies are in the basic warrior class. They added a few archers in the PSP and Reborn remakes, but still, this is a really easy fight. Once again, Ravenous is joining us, so She's going to help us end this fight a bit sooner. Now here, Vice is going to leave us for the last time. If you know anything about this game, he's going to betray us at the end of this fight. There's a dialogue option to go down the law or chaos path at the end of this fight. Regardless of the choice you make at the end of the fight, Vice joins the enemy side instead. If you play the law route, you can eventually recruit him again, but we'll be going with the chaos route. Now, some people might be thinking, is there any rationale as to why we're going on the chaos route? If you were to pick the law route, it would quickly become apparent why we go with the chaos route in this run. At the start of Chapter 2, the Chaos route doesn't immediately go into another battle. You actually end up in a new town, I think it's Ashton, and you fight Aracel. But in the law route, once you're done with the fight involving Ravenous, you then do another fight at Balma Musa. And this is the one that causes the problems with the law route. See, in the Reborn version of the game, There's a wizard and an enchantress located very far back on the map, and they never seem to approach you, so you can't really kill them, so the fight never ends. Due to the terrain of the map, you're also not able to push your units forward to get them into range where they can attack the enemy wizard. I think in theory it is possible to beat that fight. For example, if you were to charm, say, one of the enemy archers in the fight, maybe they could go and attack the enemy wizard and beat it for you. But it's much easier if you just go on the chaos route. For challenge runs, I think it's just easier to go on the chaos route anyway, as I know speedrunners prefer to go on the chaos route as well. I think that's because there's fewer chapters where you have to kill all enemies. There's 1 or 2 extra maps where you can just get away with killing a boss to end the map on the chaos route. Ravenous is doing a decent job of keeping the enemy occupied. Our archers are able to pick off the enemy's warriors while she's keeping them distracted. But unfortunately for Ravenous, she's not recruitable on the Chaos route, so this is the last time we'll see her. Canopus finishes off the last warrior, and that's the fight done. Leonard asks us if we want to kill a bunch of innocent civilians, and to that we say no. Still in Balman Musa, we now have to fight at the other end of the map. This is going to be a bit more of a challenge than the last fight. Our archers are not going to be too effective in this fight. We did do a bit of grinding earlier, and with the extra attacks we took, we do have access to finishing moves now on some of our units. The first finishing move you get for bows is Dark Weight. This will be very helpful for this battle, as Dark Weight is not affected by terrain or height difference. Even if an enemy is sat on top of a cliff or they're hiding behind a wall, Dark Weight will let us attack them. We're also going to be relying on charming the enemy as well. Our wizard has no trouble attacking the enemy himself, but he'll help the rest of the team out by charming enemies. Not only does charming enemies get them to attack their own allies, but it's also less damage coming into our party as well. Providing we keep our teammates healed up, Katja will see that there's nothing else to do, and she'll go for attacks with Spirit Surge as well. There's not a whole lot more I can say about this fight. It's fairly similar to the last battle, except the starting positions are different. Having to fight uphill does give us a bit of trouble because our archers are quite restricted in who they can target, but when they get access to their finishing moves, they don't have any restrictions on this anymore. This enemy archer is in a position where it's going to be tough to attack her with any other units, so our archers will have to save up their MP to get finishing moves so they can kill her. Some of our archers don't have enough skill with bows to use finishers just yet, so we'll just have them shooting at things to train up their ranks. Canopus has been with us for quite a while, so his skill with the bows is coming along nicely. Chapter 1 wasn't too interesting, if I'm going to be completely honest. There was the map where we fought the Necromancer, where we had to push Canopus a long trail down the map. But aside from that, most of the time we were just camping one position and waiting for the enemy to come to us. I think the later chapters do get a bit more interesting. Not only are they going to be more difficult, but we'll also have to get a bit creative with solutions on how we can beat those maps as well. So stay tuned for those. But again, that's the end of chapter 1. For now, it's goodbye, and I'll see you in chapter 2.